Okay, today I'll explain how to do the inference figurative type questions. I sent this into our WhatsApp chat, but I thought, creating a video might be helpful. Let's just get right into it. I'll come back to the Venn diagram later. I'll first explain what is an inference figurative type question. So a figurative type of question is basically a figure of speech, right? So when I say he is as fast as a cheetah, that can't literally be true unless you are like an Olympian sprinter, right? Humans do not run literally as fast as big cats, correct? So this is not, this is not literal. So this is a figure of speech. That's why it's what we call figurative language, okay? And normally this is like through use of literary devices like metaphors and similes, essentially a comparison. So when the inference questions are very commonly like, how does this suggest something about right? And they compare when they say how does inverted commas a code reflect something about something else, right? So whatever's inside that is normally just a metaphor to compare two things together, right? So if I compare, oh my god, Jack is like such a sloth, I'm comparing Jack and sloth, right? So this is, right, a literary device that I'm comparing to Jack. So again, whenever I'm using a figure of speech, very often it's a comparison, right? Does that make sense? It's clear, right? But why are you comparing? It's because there is a shared characteristic. You're not saying Jack is a sloth just because it's like a random thing you pluck, like you pluck out of your mind, correct? It is because you're comparing some shared characteristics. So there is a commonality between the figure of speech and the very thing you're trying to describe. Your job is then to find out the characteristics of the language device and how does it overlap with what you're trying to compare it to. So what's characteristics, right? Characteristics of a sloth, right, might be lazy and unmotivated. Of Pikachu might be yellow electric, right? I use Pikachu because it's a very visual example. I think everybody understands. And if we go into volcano, right, what if I say, oh, he was like a volcano about to erupt? What's the special characteristics here? About to burst any moment, about to release any moment, right? Hot, explosive, these are the characteristics of using the metaphor volcano, right? And you will start to see, that overlaps with certain ideas of anger, assuming they ask you to infer about his attitude or his anger, right? How does the phrase about to erupt like a volcano suggest about John's attitude, right? So that can help you to think of the ideas already. So I've drawn a Venn diagram to show you how that will look like visually, right? So in one of the concrete passages, there was one question which is your classic explain how question. Explain how the language used by the author, right, shows that the sea and the ocean was very calm, right? And one of the quotes to select was the ocean or the sea was as as what was it? Was like gelatin, okay? Was like gelatin. So like gelatin and sea, you just have to think, okay, what are the characteristics of this comparison, of this like metaphor simile, and what again are the common characteristics of a sea, and what could overlap, right? Whatever overlaps could be the answers, and this could be hinted at by your context, right? Contextual clues. But I want you to think about, right? What are certain characteristics, and the overlapping area could be the answer. For example, gelatin, is a jelly-like substance, correct? So certain characteristics will be the physical state is solid, right? It's translucent. For C, the physical state is maybe liquid, correct? And there is a salty smell. But probably these don't overlap, right? So these, when I'm comparing gelatin, right, or a C to the gelatin-like substance, these things won't carry over, so probably not the answer. But the smoothness of it could overlap. That's why the answer for the passage was that the smoothness, right? They compare the sea to a gelatin-like substance to describe how smooth the surface of the ocean was, hinting that there are no waves, therefore it was not a windy day, right? Therefore it was not a windy day. So that's how you answer the question. I hope that makes sense, okay? I hope that wasn't too fast. So basically, going along this train of thought helps to increase the probability that you get the answer correct. I won't say that you will get the answer correct, but it's always a probability statistic game. Alright?